Okay, I've started recording. Yeah, go ahead and first of all, tell me what the problem is and how you try to solve it. Okay.
மேம் யூசரோடைய நேமையும் அவங்களுடைய டேட் ஆஃப் பர்த்தையும் வாங்கி அவங்களுடைய நேம் அண்ட் their ஏஜ் வந்து பிரிண்ட் பண்றது.
Okay. Okay.
மேம்
Okay, good. You
இதுல
started with
நேம்
comments.
அப்படிங்கிற
Very good.
நேம் அப்படிங்கிற வேரியபிள் வந்து கிரியேட் பண்ணிட்டேன் மேம்.
ம்.
இப்போ ஸ்ட்ரிங் வாங்க போறதால இன்புட் மட்டும் போட்டுட்டேன் மேம்.
Okay.
என்டர் யுவர் நேம் ஃபார் வந்து யூசர்ட்ட இருந்து நேம் கெட் பண்ண வந்து போட்டேன் மேம்.
Okay.
பர்த் இயர்னு ஒரு வேரியபிள் கிரியேட் பண்ணிட்டேன் மேம். ஃபார் கெட்டிங்
Okay.
அவங்க யூசரோடைய பர்த் இயர் வாங்க உருவாக்கிட்டேன் மேம். இப்போ
Okay.
ஏஜ் கண்டுபிடிக்கிறதுக்காக கரண்ட் இயர்னு ஒரு வேரியபிள் யூஸ் பண்ணுவேன். 2024 அப்படின்னு அசைன் பண்ணேன்.
Okay.
ஏஜ் வந்து கரண்ட் இயர் மைனஸ் பர்த் இயர் மேம்.
Okay.
ஸோ அதான் மேம் இங்க பண்ணிருக்கேன். ரன் பண்ணி காட்டுவா மேம்?
No, hold on 1 second. So let's keep the code. So basically, you said hello. Ask the user for his name. You have done that, and then you ask what year they were born. You have done that, and get the year from the user. Print your year. So okay. So now, anybody does anybody want to give feedback on his code? Did he do everything correctly? Who wants to respond? Who wants to? Okay, Shiva Subban has raised his hand. We need to make sure we raise your hand, and I will open the queue and ask everybody. Okay. Okay, Shiva Subban.
Yes, ma'am. The question is asked to print both the string and integer in the same line, ma'am.
Okay.
ஸோ அப்படி பண்ணலாம் மேம். இப்போ அவங்க ஸ்லாஷ் நியூ லைன் நான் யூஸ் பண்றதுக்கு பதிலாக இப்படி பண்ணிட்டேன் மேம். ஸோ அவர் சொன்ன மாதிரி பண்ணலாம் மேம். இதை நான் சேஞ்ச் பண்ணிடுவா மேம்?
Yeah, go ahead and change. It has to say print. You are this many years old, right? Okay. Anybody else has feedback? Shiva, is it good now that he changed it? Sadia. Sadia. Okay. 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 Anybody else has any feedback on his code? How can he make this better? Everybody thinks the code is good. Give me thumbs up if you agree that the code is correct. Hello, people. Can you hear me? Pawan, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So people give thumbs up if you agree that this code is correct. Okay. Everybody agrees? Okay. Go ahead and run the code, Pawan. Okay.
யூசர் நேம் வந்து என்னுடைய பேர் கொடுக்குறேன் மேம், பவன். என்னுடைய பர்த் இயர் 2009 மேம்.
ஓகே.
இப்போ இன்சர் கொடுத்தனா ஹலோ பவுன் யூ ஆர் 19 இயர்ஸ் ஓல்ட். அங்க வந்து ஸ்லாஷ் நியூ லைன் யூஸ் பண்ணதால வந்து இது வந்து நெக்ஸ்ட் லைன்ல பிரிண்ட் ஆயிருக்குங்க. இப்போ ஸ்லாஷ் நியூ லைன் எடுத்தோம்னா ஒரு சிங்கிள் லைன்.
Let's say put exclamation mark.
மேம் புரியல.
எக்ஸ்கிளமேஷன் மார்க் பா, ஹலோ அப்படின்ட்டு ஒரு எக்ஸ்கிளமேஷன் கொடுப்போம் இல்லையா, அந்த மாதிரி. ஹலோ பவன் எக்ஸ்கிளமேஷன் மார்க். You know what exclamation mark is? Like இப்படி ஒரு அதான் எக்ஸாக்ட்லி அந்த நியூ லைன் எடுத்துரு.
ஓகே.
இப்ப பிரிண்ட் பண்ணு. Okay. Ipo, I want to ask something to everybody. Okay. So what if, okay, I am running this code. So you wrote this code in 2024, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
hard coded the year to be 2024. Like,
Yes, ma'am.
let's say I run the same code 1 year from now, will it work?
No, ma'am. So current
No.
year value
So
will be changed.
correct. Okay. So that's okay. So I want somebody else to suggest what would you change if you want this program to run anytime, any day, even 3 years from now, 4 years from now, you want the code to work. What would you do? So Santosh, you have raised your hand first. Go ahead and tell what should Pavan do to change his code. Santosh.
There's an inbuilt library in Python called datetime.
Okay.
Time, and we can import that and.
Okay. So why don't you tell Pavan what to change, and he will do it on the fly.
So there's a library.
Pavan, do whatever Santosh is asking you to change. Go ahead and do it.
So there's a library called datetime.
Okay.
So you have to import
Right.
datetime.
So import. So go ahead onto the top of the code, Pavan, and do the import. Go ahead, Santosh. Tell him.
From datetime, import datetime.
This is correct.
Datetime, import datetime.
Import date. Ma'am, already import date time தான் சொல்லியிருக்கேன். From date time, import date time. So அதை பண்ண சொல்றேன்.
Okay, Santosh enna solraro, whatever Santosh is saying, go ahead and do that, Pavan. Santosh is driving the code now. Okay. Pavan?
I told in the chat, no. From datetime, import datetime.
Yeah, put the code in the chat. That's easier because the thing is not legible properly. So Santosh has put in the chat, Pavan. So just copy that and put that statement in the first before your program starts, the code starts. Okay, then Santosh has added more code. Go ahead and get the current year. So instead of your current year hard coding, yeah. Okay. Okay, go ahead and run this now. So is that correct, Pavan, now?
Yes, ma'am.
So now if I run this next year, would it work still?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now I'm going to ask the next question. When were you born? What is your month, birth month, Pavan?
October.
October. So is it October right now?
No, ma'am.
So are you already 19 or you're still 18, right?
Still 18, ma'am.
Correct. So what do you think? So now I'm going to ask the same question again to people. What if I want to actually give the right age? Not just look at the year, but rather the current date, right? So if the current date is July and his birthday is October, he's still not 19, right? He's still 18. Only in October he's going to be 19, right? So what if I want to change to also take into consideration the birth month? So how would I change it? Who would want to try that? Raise your hand. Did you understand the question, everyone? Pavan is still 18 years old. He's not 19 yet. So who do you think want to try this? Okay, I'm going to see. I think, let me see who raised your hand. Where is my queue? Okay, Santosh. Okay, Santosh already answered. I'm going to Shiva. Shiva Supan. I think you also answered before. I want somebody else to answer the question. Who else? Santosh, Shiva, you already had some questions answered, right? Shiva, did you answer a question before? Okay, Shiva, go ahead. I think you raised your hand. Nobody else is raising their hand. So how would you change it, Shiva?
Ma'am, we can pass the year, day, month, and the date for the date and time function, ma'am. And then after calling it, we can get the current date of today date, ma'am. Then we can compare the age, and we can compare the month from the previous month and our birth month, ma'am. If it is, if the current month is less than our date of month, we can reduce by 1 month. Right?
Okay, so now let's say I want to even like take it one step forward, and I even want to use the date, because in October, what is the day of your birthday, Pawan?
13.
13, right? So until 13th, you're still not 19 years old, correct? If I check on October 12th, you should still be 18 years old, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So what if I want to do that, Shiva? I want you to give him the code and Pawan will write the code.
Yes,
Make sense?
Okay.
Go ahead and do that. So give Pawan the code, and we're just taking that simple problem, and I want to make sure it will work always, any day, anytime.
Okay.
Did it help everybody? Are you understanding how we are changing this? Okay. Okay, go ahead and Shiva, give the code for Pawan. He will just type it in.
And shall I recite?
Put it in the chat. That way it's easier, because sometimes audio is not coming really well. So first thing is, Pawan, you need to get the birth date, right? Instead of the birth year.
Yes.
In the code. Let's fix the input first.
Yes, ma'am.
While Siva is figuring out the other code, I want to use the first change the input. And do we really need to, Abu Huraira, do we really need to figure out month and everything? Or can we just use the date calculation? What do you guys think? Think logically what makes sense. Yeah, you can do day, month, year and check, but is that what we want? If you are calculating in your head somebody's age, how would you do it? I want somebody else to raise your hand. If I want somebody to raise your hand to tell me, how would you mentally calculate? If somebody gives the date of birth, how would you calculate mentally? Raise your hand to answer the question. You have to participate in the class, everybody. I'm not asking code. I'm just asking how you would do it mentally. This is nothing to do with programming. Please raise your hand. Somebody who never answered before. Or I'll pick people. Okay, Vijayashri. If somebody gives their date of birth, how would you calculate the age in your head or on a paper? How would you do it?
Ma'am, I would actually select the today's year, ma'am, and date of birth of which they have born, ma'am. Like for example, if I'm born like in 2004 and the current year, I would minus it, ma'am.
And then?
And then after minusing, I'll get a number, ma'am. That number I'll be calculating as a age, ma'am.
So நான் இப்ப சொன்னேன் இல்லையா, if let's say they are born in October and you are in July. So if you just subtract, remember when we did just the subtraction of the year, we got it as Pawan is 19 years old, when in fact he is only 18 years old, because until October he is still 18, correct? Yes, Vijayashri, do you understand that part?
Yes, ma'am.
So if your birthday is in December, are you going to say from January you are already that age just because the year changed?
No, ma'am.
No, right? So if you are given, let's say one of your friend comes and says, hey, my birthday is December 20th, 19, like let's say 2000. Okay? How would you calculate their age? So if you just subtract 2024 from 2020, you get 24, correct? But are they really 24 right now, Vijayashri?
No, no, ma'am.
So how would you mentally do it? Forget about coding, computing. Okay, who else? Sonali, how would you solve the problem mentally? I don't even want to give me the answer in code. Give me the answer in English. How would you do it in your mental math? You're not going to write a computer program to figure out age, right? How would you do it, Sonali? Okay, Sonali is traveling. Okay, Saktivel, how would you do it? Saktivel?
I would compare the date, birth month and present month. If which month is greater, I would subtract the age as per that.
Okay, so I think Pawan, what is going on in the code? Let me see. Today. Okay, so who is driving the code? Is Shiva giving you the code?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Today,
Keep writing until you get the answer correctly. I'm not going to critique the code until you finish the program and run and tell me it's working. Okay. I'm going to wait. Go ahead and do, both of you, or anybody who wants to tell them how to write correct code, go ahead and do it.
Ma'am, that YYMMDD are input years. He must get the input from the user and when they print the
Okay,
variable.
so tell Pawan what he needs to do. Give him the code, put it in the chat. You all can try it on your own laptops, right? You all are working on your laptops. So try the problem on yourself, by yourself, and whatever works, tell Pawan. You are all solving collectively this question. Okay? You know the problem statement. I told you, given the birth date, you need to give me the proper age. Right? You all understood the problem. So try on your laptop, and when you get the answer, let me know and you can share your screen. How about that? It's a challenge now. Pawan, you can stop presenting, Pawan, okay? Stop presenting. Everybody try on your laptop, and when you think you got it, let me know. Okay? Shiva, even you, for you, solve the problem on your laptop and share and tell me you're done and you are ready to share when you are completed with the program. Test your program before you share it with me. Is it fair? So this is now a challenge. Everybody is participating in this. You can even Google, you can ask ChatGPT. There are so many ways to get the answer. So if you have not solved the problem, you don't know how to Google, or you don't know how to use help on the web. It's a simple problem. Whoever has solved it, share your laptop. Raise your hand, first of all, if you have done it. Okay, no one has completed this code yet? Okay, Kumara Guhan, what is going on? Tell me where you are struggling with. I'm assuming you are in this batch because you all know programming already, correct? Kumara Guhan? Okay. Jayadarshini, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so are you able to finish the code? What is going on?
I am working on it, ma'am. I'm trying to get how to get the current date, month, and year, and
Okay.
find out.
Okay. Shiva Suban, you put the code, right? Have you solved the problem already on your computer?
Ma'am,
Kumara Guhan, yes.
ma'am, I am attending from my phone, so I couldn't write the code, ma'am. Can I tell the logic, ma'am?
Logic, a lot of people said, so we don't want that. I want people to solve the problem and show me. You can even do it on the phone. Last time, people showed even shared their phone screens. So next time, see how to do that, okay? If you don't have a laptop.
Okay, ma'am.
Shiva Subban, are you saying something?
Yes, ma'am. I'm typing right now, ma'am.
Okay, typing right now. Okay. Pawan, how about you? Are you able to finish the code?
அக்டோபர் அப்படிங்கிறத சேஞ்ச் பண்றதுதான் மேம் எனக்கு பிரச்சனையா இருக்கு.
Okay. Okay, so I'll give 5 minutes. I'll leave you alone. Let me know. Raise your hand when you finish, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll go on mute. Okay, Shaktivel, I see you have raised your hand. So did you complete the code?
Yes, ma'am. I completed the code, ma'am. Shall I show
Okay,
it,
can
ma'am?
you please share your screen, Shaktivel?
Yes, ma'am. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, it is visible. Okay. Okay, Shiva Suban. Let Shaktivel work through his code and then we will ask him. Shiva, go ahead. So what have you done?
Ma'am, I have checked if the current month is lesser than the month of birth, ma'am. If the current month is lesser than birth, ma'am, I have decreased the age.
Okay. So one thing Shiva is already saying is you have not included the day, correct? If I born on December 30th, you are taking from December 1st, I'm already that age, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so that's one problem. The second problem is there are no comments. We need to write comments as you write the code. This is something, I don't know if you attended the last class, I told everybody to have to write comments. Okay. So,
Okay.
so go ahead then, you can start presenting the screen. Good job, Satyavel. Santosh, not Santosh, Shiva, I think you are the next one who raised your hand. Go ahead and show your code with the day. Okay.
Ma'am, I have used map function to get the input in space separated, ma'am.
Okay.
In year, month, and date format, and converted it into a int data type and converted into a list, ma'am.
Okay.
And saved into a variable birth year, ma'am. And when passing it to a datetime function, I can get a exact conversion of date, ma'am. And today date will be datetime.now, and which when we subtract the both, we can get the age, ma'am. But sometimes age is when our date of birth is greater than the current date, we can reduce the age by 1, ma'am.
Age by 1. So same concept what he has done. You just changed it a little bit, Shaktivel. You changed it to also include the day. Okay. Santosh, you have raised your hand, so go ahead and show. Again, comments. You're missing comments, Shiva. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, I'll rectify.
I know you did it in a hurry, but make sure you start it as a habit. Okay. So whatever you explained, right, that logic, you should have put that in the code, in the comments. That makes sense?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Santosh, go ahead and share your screen.
Yes, ma'am. Is it visible, ma'am?
It's still coming up for me. Yeah. No, it's gone. It said presenting.
Let me do it again.
Okay. Yeah, I can see the screen now.
Here I got the whole birthday, birth month, and birth year as a string, ma'am.
Okay.
And the current date is also being got as input, ma'am. So as already people use the date time, I'm getting the date from the user, ma'am.
Okay, and you have written a function also so that you can keep calling. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. In that function, I'll pass that, and I have entered the date, month, and year as splitted by the hyphens, ma'am. So I'll split that and store it in int data type, ma'am.
Okay.
I'll convert it in integer and unpack into birth date, birthday, birth month, and birth year. And similarly for current day, current month, and current year.
Okay.
Then normal age is calculated as current year minus birth year. But for special cases, I'll convert them current month and date day as tuple with month having the priority. If the current month is lesser than the birth month, then we have to check with the current day, and if the current day is even less than the birthday, then we have to reduce the age by 1 month, or else we are okay with the already present age.
Okay. So the only change I would suggest is why should you get the current date as input?
As others use the date time, I went for a
you different. Can do that. Okay, that would be the comment I would give for your code. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
That would be something you shouldn't be asking them to fix because they can mess up with the current date, right? Why should you get the input from the current date? Current date is a fact, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So make sure you do that. Okay, good. Okay, so I think we'll stop with the first problem now. I think we went too far into it, but I wanted to see how you guys think right, immediately if you have to change something, right? That's the whole point of this exercise. Okay. Okay, so then let's go to the next one. It talks about the user just bought a few things in your shop. Ask the user what he bought, right? Let me put it in the chat first. Okay. So basically it says cost of one vada is 30 rupees, soda is 20 rupees, sandwich is 100 rupees. Calculate the total cost, ask the user to pay the amount, receive the amount from the user, get money as input, print the change amount you have to give the user. So basically they are buying some things in your shop. You first ask them, what did you buy? They might have got only one vada, or they might have got two vadas, one sandwich, and they might have got two sodas. It depends what they want to buy, right? You first need to calculate the total cost. And then you are going to ask the user, okay, give me the pay, right? And they will give pay. Then you need to figure out what is the change you need to give back to the user. So this is what you need to do. And obviously you're going to use float data type because you're not going to round off numbers. You're going to give the change correct. So I don't know if anybody solved it already. So raise your hand if you have done it already and you want to start sharing. Pawan, you already did it last time, so I'm going to wait for some other person. They want to solve. Anybody else solved it other than Pawan? Jayadarshini. Okay, Jayadarshini, Sadia. Okay, Sadia, go ahead and share your screen if you can. And then walk through your code first. Okay. Sonali, you're having the problem. Okay, you can see the recorded video. Yes, I will put it in the thing. Okay. Go ahead, Sadia, and go through your code and explain to everybody what you have done. And I want everybody to critique her code, same as last time, and tell her if she has done everything correctly, or if you think you have any feedback, you need to let her know. Okay, Sadia, go ahead and walk through your code, please. Sadia, you may be on
Is it visible? No?
Visible and you're audible. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. Explain your code, Sadia.
So here, first I got the inputs from the user, like
Okay.
how many vada did you buy, all the three inputs for three products, and then
Okay.
I calculated with the total cost.
Okay.
Then I asked the user to pay the total cost. Then how many amount the user has paid, I have asked the amount to enter in it, and then I subtracted the total cost with the paid amount and the change amount that needs to be given back to the user.
Okay. So is everybody thinking everything is good? Any feedback on her code? Who has any feedback? Anybody else has feedback? Raise your hand. Okay. So nobody has feedback. So Sadia, I want you to run the code and I will give you the input. Okay.
Okay.
So go ahead and run the code. Okay. I got, let's say, 3 vada, 2 sodas, and I got 2 sandwiches. And I paid 100. 100, yeah. So what happened?
Minus 230.
So do you think that's a good output?
Oh no, ma'am. We need to ask
Okay.
for the user to pay the remaining amount.
Okay, so what do you think? So Sadia, go ahead and hold on. So I want somebody else to raise your hand if you know how to fix the code. Godwin, go ahead and tell what Sadia needs to change in her code to fix that.
Okay, ma'am, we can put an if condition. We can check if the amount that has been given by the user is more than or less than the
Very good.
total.
Very
If
good.
it is
And you
equal
can give a message, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so go ahead and give the code in the chat that Sadia needs to add. So copy that, Sadia. So the money is what?
Money is paid
right?
amount and cost is change.
Try make sure you
It's
put the
total
correct variables. If paid amount is less than total cost, right? So do you think this is good now, Godwin? So change underscore amount will be again, you need to copy what line 19 to line 23. So take the line 19 code and put it in 23, right? Change underscore AMT. Okay, do the same input now. Give the same input, Sadia, what I gave last time. 3 vadai, 2 sodas, 2 sandwiches, and then give the same as 100. Okay, but you're still printing your change. So you need to, what do you need to fix? Where should you pay your change? Where should your change be? Why is your change getting printed if the money is insufficient? What should you
Sorry,
fix?
ma'am, I didn't understand.
You don't want to print the amount if it is incorrect, correct? If they didn't pay enough amount, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So how would you change the code to only give the message that amount is insufficient? You don't want to put your change amount is negative, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
She should call that paid amount again in the else statement.
Okay, so go ahead and change the code, Sadia. So what should you do the line 25 to? How would you change it? Who wants to answer the question? I want to only print the change if it is the money is not insufficient. Godwin, go ahead and tell her what to do. Godwin?
She should just remove that line.
She should just remove that line, but okay. I want to give the amount if the amount is sufficient, right?
Yeah,
Only
ma'am,
if the
because
amount
the
is insufficient, we want to give the change. Amulya, go ahead and answer.
She can remove that line and call the paid amount function in the else statement so that they can ask the sufficient amount again to pay. And again, loops continue.
No. I don't want a loop. I want to say, so go ahead and run the code, Sadia, again. I'll tell you what I want and then Amulya, you answer me, okay? So what I want is, so clear the screen and run it again. So let's say you give like now 322, the same input, Sadia. Okay, so here what happened, it says money insufficient and it printed your changes minus 230, correct?
Yeah.
Correct? I don't want that to be printed. If the money is insufficient, I don't want your change to be printed. If you run it again, Sadia, go ahead and run it again. And now this time give the amount paid as 300. Okay? No, not 300, 400, sorry. Go run it again, sir. I didn't realize it was 330. I thought it was 230. $322 and amount paid is 400. So I want your change amount is 70 in this scenario. Okay, so go ahead and tell me. So Godwin, go ahead and tell you, whoever wants to answer that, to tell only if the money is sufficient, I want the change to be printed. If the money is not sufficient, the only message that should come out is your money is insufficient. How would you change the code? So go ahead and show the code, Sadia, what you have. You can close the terminal.
In the else statement, she can remove the change amount and outside the loop, she can print the money.
Okay. So give her the, tell her what to do, Sadia.
Like in 24, you just remove that print statement and run.
Okay, remove the print statement and run. Then what will happen? Run it again. Run the same thing. She's saying now give lesser amount. Run the code, Sadia. And do the same thing, 322, and say the amount paid is 100. So it still printed your changes. I don't want that, right, Amulya?
Yeah.
So how would you fix it? Jayadarshini, tell me.
Ma'am, you should remove the ending statement out of else statement. There's a statement called print your changes. That one you should remove, ma'am. But in else statement,
You should remove. Okay,
yes,
so remove that statement and do what?
It should be there in the else statement. This statement.
How would you? It's not remove. What would you do with that statement on 24? What would you do to fix that?
It should be in the else part.
So it should be indented, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, that's all. You don't have to delete. So line 24, Sadia, just indent it to align with change equal to. So then what would happen? It will only get executed in the else part, correct?
Yes.
Everybody is understanding that part? Yes, no, maybe? Thumbs up? So now what will happen? Only if the change is sufficient, it will come to the else part, and only then it will print the amount. That's what I was asking, right? Maybe I was not clear and you didn't understand the problem. Okay, so now run it again, Sadia, and see if it works. Did it work, Sadia?
The money insufficiency.
Okay, so Shiva Subban has said remove line 19. What is that line 19? Let's see. Go back to the code. Oh, okay. So yeah, that you can remove because you're calculating only if the amount is already in else. Okay, good. Okay. So anybody else has any other feedback to make this code even better? Godwin, do you have any suggestions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Anybody else has any other suggestions that you think that, hey, this program won't work if I do this? Missing equal to, Shiva Subban, where? Oh, less than or equal to?
In line 19.
No. Line 19, if it's equal to, then it's still, it's not money insufficient, right? It should go to the else, correct? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay. Who else? Anybody else who thinks that they can break this code? That it will not work if we do this? Any other things that you can think of? Everybody give me a thumbs up if you think this code is perfect.
Ma'am?
Yes.
So the insufficient balance எப்படி திரும்ப மேம் வாங்குறது? So அதுக்கு ஒரு ஃபங்க்ஷன் எழுதணும்ல மேம்.
That you can do a loop, right? That we can do.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
What else? Like just the code like this is not. You can always say money insufficient. That's a final answer. That's okay. But what if I can break this code? Can you break this code? Think and tell me. Okay. Nobody has any suggestions? Okay. So Sadia, go ahead and run the code, Sadia. I'm going to break the code, okay? Okay. Give the number, how many vada did you buy? Put -10. And give 2 and 2. And say I paid 100. What happened? I paid 100 and I'm going to get back 160. That's a good deal, right? What do you guys think? Is that a good benefit for me to pay 100 rupees and get 160 rupees change? Let's say you are building an online application like this. People can mess with an app, right? How much to pay? Did you understand how it messed up the code? So when you write a code, you should always think that you have to safeguard it against users' input. This is how people break apps. This is how people, mess up with the apps, online applications. If things are all not well taken care of, people can make money, right? What if it's an online app you built for a cafe and you're losing money because people are messing with it? So now raise your hand if you know how to fix this problem. Only 2? Okay, I'm going to ask somebody who didn't answer before, okay? Vijay Shri. If let's say this is a problem you're solving not with code, as a human, how would you do it? Where would you stop them from making the mistake? Vijay Shri, can you answer? Jayadarshini, if you are a human user who is sitting at the cafe's, cash register, how would you solve this problem?
I think the money value when should be paid should be in the absolute value. That's the positive.
Okay, but where did the problem start, Jayadashni? Where did the problem happen? Not at the money, at the calculation of money, right? The problem happened even before, correct? Where did the problem start happening when I gave the input? Amulya, where did the problem happen?
At the starting itself, when the user input asks for the ODI.
Right. The problem started there because I allowed the user to give a number of a -10. Is a -10 a valid number for the number of vadas?
So we can give a list of items which should not below less than 0,
Right.
like that.
So the input itself, you have to fix it, right? You have to make sure that when you get the user input, it has to be a valid input. Anytime you write a program, when you are getting an input from the user, you need to make sure it's valid input. I didn't want to go into that in the birth date because we spent too much time on the birth date, right? So I didn't want to go there. What if the user enters an invalid birth year and birth month that doesn't exist? What if they put month as 13? Is it a valid input? Remember we solved the birth year? If the user enters 40 as the day or 13 as a month, would it work? It won't work, right? Properly? Do you guys understand the importance of validating user input? Yes? So anytime you write program, that is the first thing you need to consider. Hey, I want to make my code so foolproof that people cannot mess with my code. I need to stop them and I need to reject that input first. Okay, so this is a thought for every one of you. Think about it. We don't have to solve it right now. You need to make sure so think about the programs that we did before. Okay, so I think Sadia, did you do the birth homework also? Sadia?
I did.
Okay, can you open that code? I'll tell you how to mess with that code. I'm just going to show you something. Okay. Okay, so right there, you're saying what year were you born, right? So you know what, how I'm going to mess with this? Go ahead and run the code. Okay, I'm going to give my name Anu. Okay, I'm going to give my year as 2027. What variable were you born? So how old am I? Enter. How old am I? Do you understand, Arunjay Rajan, how you can mess with the code?
I'm audible.
Did you understand what I'm trying to do in the code?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. But the is the answer negative or is showing?
So is the answer correct? Am I minus 3 years old? So what happened here? When you are asking for somebody which year were you born, can they give a future year? You are expecting the user to give the answer the way you are looking for, right? But they can really mess with it, correct?
Yes, okay, I understand the code now. Okay.
Okay, so now let's say, Sadia, go ahead and run it again. Okay, I'm going to give my name Anu, okay, and I'm going to give you the year where born 1004, 1004. Is that a valid answer? Abu Huraira, do you think it's valid? Abu Huraira, are you there? Khalis Wari, Do you think it's a valid answer? Kumara Guhan R. Do you think it's a valid answer? Okay, are you guys there? You just join the call and leave the call. What is happening? At least put it in the chat if you cannot talk. Okay. Godwin, do you think it's a valid answer? No, right? So it's not a valid answer. So if let's say, okay, good Vijay, you at least you put the answer that your issue, network issue. I want you to participate. Put it in the chat, even if you cannot unmute yourself, right? If you don't participate, then I cannot understand if you understanding or not my concepts that I'm teaching, right? That's a really whole point of this. So now, Sadia, run the code again. And give me name Anu and put the number -100. You see? So I broke your code with 3 different inputs, correct? Yes? I gave -100, I gave 1004, and I also gave a future year 2027. All 3 are invalid inputs, correct? Yes, Sadia? So I want you to take this as a challenge now, right? And you all have in your Discord channel the programs, right? So now think like that. Think how I am thinking, right? Solve every program that you have with a perfect solution that you think of, where you are validating every user's input. You are making sure you are giving appropriate message back that, hey, you are an idiot. You don't have to say you are an idiot, but you say hey, your input is incorrect. Correct? Think of that any idiot can put in any answer, any input. How would you stop it from breaking your code? Everybody understand? So the same problem, the birth problem, even though we spent half an hour or more than half an hour, it still is not perfect, right? I just broke it 3 different ways. How would you make it perfect? So solve that problem, and the same thing, the same concept we can do with the sharp, right? We talked about giving negative numbers, giving insufficient amount. We saw a simple thing like insufficient amount. We don't want to give incorrect answer, right? So that will be your homework for this week, to make sure the 4 problems or 5 problems I put in this card, the program should be so perfect that it cannot be, I cannot break it. And I will give the instructions to everybody also. I think you will meet during the weekdays. He is going to test your code. You need to make your code so perfect that nothing can break the code. It will always handle all the error conditions, all the error situations, and you will give appropriate error message saying, hey, you need to. I think somebody mentioned, oh, what if we don't get the amount, right? You cannot run away saying amount is insufficient. So maybe you need to put it in a loop until you get the right amount, right? That's also something you need to fix. So try to make the program perfect. The first thing to think about in making a program perfect is make sure you write the comments, make sure you handle the input, make sure you validate the input in all the ways possible. If you are expecting the input to be a number, positive number, and it cannot be 0, you need to validate for that, right? You need to say it is greater than 0. That might be a check you need to do. And maybe in the birth year, you have to make sure it is less than the current year. People cannot be born in the future, right? So think of all the silly situations that can happen in the program and make sure you handle all of that. And you may have to get the input in the loop until you get the valid input. You can do that also. There are so many ways to make the program perfect. So make sure you write the code, and that is what you're going to bring into the next week. Everybody understood the homework? Okay. Okay. So So I know it's only 1 hour. Any questions from today's program? Or anybody want to give any feedback? What did you learn in this? Who wants to raise your hand and answer? Otherwise, Pavan Kumar, go ahead.
மேம் ஆல்ரெடி வந்து இந்த ஷாப் ப்ரோக்ராம் எழுதியிருந்தேன் மேம். பட் நான் வந்து அங்க வந்து வேலிடேஷனா மிஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன். நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி கரெக்டா -10 போட்டா என்ன ஆகும் அப்படிங்கறத மிஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன் மேம். ஸோ வேலிடேஷன் எந்த அளவுக்கு முக்கியம் அப்படிங்கறத இதுல கத்துக்கு.
Okay, so do you understand, when you go to online app or an iPhone app or website, you have to write a program perfect to handle all conditions, right? Otherwise people can break it, correct?
Yes ma'am.
Okay, okay. Who else?
Thank you.
Amulya, go ahead.
Like ma'am, in each and every program, how can we find a loop and fix it until it can pass all the condition before using it to a general? We have to generalize all the cases. Yeah.
Correct. That is unit testing. It's not enough you write the code. You need to test your code, right? And you need to test your code to certain level of confidence that you can have with the code. It is not just about translating, oh, this is the problem statement, I'm going to translate it into a code. I want you all to think, start thinking logically, right? How to make it better. Okay.
Yeah.
Abu Huraira. Go ahead, Amulya. You were saying something?
Yeah. And not only getting the expected output, we need to check for all the inputs, what are the failure conditions maybe. Sometimes we'll feel if we get expected output, yeah, my code is working, we will not try for other cases. But in this class, we find how can we improve.
Very good. Okay. Abu Huraira. Abu Huraira, are you there? Can put it in chat if you want to give the feedback on the chat. Arunjay Rajan.
மேம் நான் இது வரைக்கும் நான் ப்ரோக்ராம் ரன் பண்ணேன்னா இது ஒரு அந்த சால்வ் பண்ண கரெக்டான ஆன்சர்ஸ் வர மாதிரி தான் நான் அவுட்புட் கொடுப்பேன். நெகட்டிவ் அவுட்புட்ஸ் எல்லாம் கொடுத்தா எப்படி ரன் ஆகுன்றதெல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டேன்.
ஓகே ஓகே குட். Godwin.
Ma'am, I understood how much important it is to validate each and every input. That's it, ma'am. And I also learned about the date time library, which I didn't know about earlier.
Okay, very good. Jaydarshini.
Yes, ma'am. I've realized how much to test each test cases are important, and the user input is also important.
Okay. Kumara Guhan.
Ma'am, I realized this professional software should be error-free and not let any developers or software testers to find any bugs in our code.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Attendance. Yes. You can all put attendance. Do you have the link, or I can put it? Your batch 2, right? Hold on. I can put the form in here. Make sure you do the attendance right now, because we take the timestamp of when you did it. I think this is the form. Go ahead and do that, okay? While you're talking to me. Okay. Okay. Sadia, did you give your feedback? Sadia?
Yes, ma'am. I was able to understand the thing you told about how people will mess up with the software. So the code should be perfect. I understood that thing, and I will try doing it best.
Okay, Shaktivel.
Yes, ma'am. Today I learned how to validate the code, ma'am. It was very helpful.
Okay. Santosh Kumar.
Yes, ma'am. Today I thought maybe trying it in different sort of ways is not should not always be a choice. Sticking to plans very often is good.
Okay. Okay.
That is if something is good already.
Go ahead, Santosh. I thought you were done.
If it is good already, we should not change it.
Okay. Okay, Shivasuban.
Yes, ma'am. I learned how the people mark the code and what are the pre-planned techniques that we must be aware of coding before.
Okay. So I know Vijayshri, you are having audio issues. Put in your feedback in the comments, okay? Okay. So I hope everybody learned something today. Hope it was, I think based on the feedback, I'm at least hearing that you are looking at a different perspective, how you should attack the code, right? So make sure you do those problems, right? And that is how you're going to learn, right? Because you are not going to write code that will only work today, correct? Remember when we did the birth date, you are assuming 2024. You cannot, right? So that is what you have to do. So you have to make sure that what you are writing is going to live for a long time. That's one thing. Then the other thing is you need to make sure that when you are expecting input to be something, right? One thing I also say is give meaningful input comment also. You need to tell the user what you are expecting. Like, let's say you are expecting a number greater than 0. Maybe put it in the comment saying, hey, enter your number. It should be greater than 0. Because the user should also know what is the right input to give, right? That's one thing. And then even if you give proper comment, they can also put in a wrong number, right? A wrong input. So you have to make sure you check your input and say, hey, if this is the input I'm expecting, am I getting the correct input? If I don't get the right input that I'm expecting, I shouldn't continue with the code. I should either stop or I should tell them, look through and get the right input. Okay, so there are many ways to handle that. So think about that. And also when you write your answers or when you write the output, make sure you are not printing output unnecessarily, right? Remember we saw when it was incorrect error, you still were printing garbage, right? You were saying, oh, your change is minus 230. We cannot do that. If you are handling an error condition, the only error message should come and you should stop the program there. You cannot be giving all the other print statements which don't make sense and it's confusing, correct? So make sure when you are doing your code, think about all these things, think about all these situations, run your code and try to test your code. Try to break your code the way I did it, right? Try to break your code and say, hey, did I handle all the conditions? Does it make sense? Is it correct now, right? Because with the age, remember I said, it cannot be like nobody is living. Maybe the oldest person that is living is what? Google it and find out. Maybe 103, 104 or maybe 106. I don't know the number, right? If somebody is entering more than that, you should say, hey, it is not a valid number, right? So you have to think about what you are solving and also make some research and say, hey, what is the right input for this? Okay. So make sure you do that and good luck with all the homeworks. And if you have any exams, yes, you can do it when you can, but this is all exercise for you to do. This is how you're going to learn. If you don't do your homework, you're not going to learn. So make sure you do your code and make sure it has to be, nobody can break the code. That's your homework today, this week. Okay. Okay, then take care everybody and fill in that form and I will look at the responses. Okay. Bye.